All right, welcome everybody. Before I get to my fabulous guests, I want to remind you to subscribe and tell your friends. We've got a lot of great guests that are going to be rolling out here, and we're available everywhere and on the C Suite network. And but I'm really excited. Money 911. We talk about health, wealth, and peace of mind, and how to protect your assets. So I bring in fabulous guests that show you how to monetize your business and create today product creation, and as our good friend here says, bundle your brilliance. And I want to welcome Nancy. Let's just dive right in and talk about how you turn your expertise into a high profit online programs.
All right. Well, it's become uh, a part of most people's businesses, and it really online courses have been around for a long time. We remember when our friend Al Gore invented the internet way back when, right? It started all of this. But when the pandemic hit, people really panicked and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Particularly if somebody was a speaker and they were out on stages all over the place, flying around the country, flying around the world. And now, the business just stopped. So everybody had to kind of figure out, okay, where am I going to go from here? Which moved us into learning about, well, how do we operate on Zoom? That was part one. Well, then part two was, well, what can I do to make this an evergreen offer? So what a lot of people did is they took their webinar, was recorded, they put an intro on it and an outro on it, and said, now I have an online course. When in fact, what they really have was a recording, because when you think about putting together an online course, people don't want to sit and watch something end to end for 45 minutes to an hour. And most webinars run 45 minutes to an hour. So you have to step back and look at it more strategically and say, okay, if I want to make this evergreen, how do I need to think about my content so that I can easily convert it to an evergreen format? And one of the easiest ways to do that is plan your webinar in specific segments as you go from topic to topic to topic. Mm-hmm. And you have breaks in between. And the break can be as simple as stopping, smiling, take a few questions, smile again, and then move to the next segment. And what that does is it gives you a place to, when you go to edit, there's space for the editor to cut it. I had somebody come to me early on and said, I want you to turn this into a course. And it was like, well, you just didn't stop talking. I don't even think you took a breath. So there was no room to cut anything out.
Right.
And then you can also take the question segments and extract those and turn them into a frequently asked questions document, which gives your audience the choice. Do I care about these questions or not? Instead of having them, sit through and listen to all the questions, because it's a different feeling when you're not live and you're experiencing it with a group of people when you're doing it on your own.
Right. It is such an art, and I just be quite transparent. I've had a product at around, I've been in practice 32 years, but around year 25, it was like, I'm doing something kind of unique here. I need to package this. So I went to all the marketing classes for a lot of years.
Right.
I'm not a marketer. I'm not a content, packaging, but I've, got 7 modules and homework, and I've added some, meditation parts where they got to stop and just take it in and turn everything off, right? That kind of thing. And it's a great course, but what you just said, there's so many little nuances that I would never know, because I just went for it without meeting you, which I wish I would have met you 10 years ago. Right.
I was here.
You were here, but I didn't know
Yeah,
you yet.
exactly.
Right. But, so it's not enough, like you said, it's not enough to have a good idea, right?
Right.
It's to take 30 years of really, high end, healthy money conversation and make it digestible for people that haven't been taught. You go to school, you learn how to make money, you get out of school. What do? Go make money and give it to somebody else to gamble. So how, taking, and whatever your creation is, your company is, taking that so it's digestible. So that's
Yes.
a consolidation, right?
And to be able to sort through it and look at it from the perspective of, what is the essential information that people really need to know,
Right.
and what is the information that's more nice to know, so you can really keep people focused on, to achieve the success, the transformation that I'm talking about. These are the steps you need to take. This is what you need to learn.
Right.
Is really, can be very challenging, because oftentimes as experts, we have so much information to share. We want to share everything.
Yeah.
And yet it can be too much. And I think that can be one of the reasons why people just think they don't complete the course, because it's more than they can handle.
Right. And so when you take these ideas and the implementation, how you put it together, and so when you design a course, and I have a lot of people that have been wanting to do courses, so they're going to listen to this show. They want to
Okay.
talk to you later. They're
All
going to
righty.
follow up with you. I know you're listening. So they're going to take their ideas and they don't know how to digest them. I mean, to just give a video, and then maybe you have homework or something, but to make it fun, what kind of tips do you tell people to make it interactive or fun, so it's not just something you fall asleep on?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, certainly coming up with how to make it engaging is really important.
Right.
And the quicker you can get people into actually doing something, the better. And that's where it's like to have the modules be, as short as you can make them, to get the key points across. Um, and that's can be challenging.
Right.
When we watch video, oftentimes, people they just sort of start to glaze over. And I think it's because we're used to looking at video in the entertainment world.
Right.
We're watching a movie, we're watching a TV show, even commercials. And if you step back and you watch, the scenes are changing fairly frequently. So we're used to all of this action going on. And whenever there's a change of scene, that is one way of just creating interaction. And I've started using a tool last year called Ecamm, which is for Mac users. It's ECAMM, which allows me to, I'm using my Ecamm camera right now. So you notice I have a logo
Right.
behind me. It eliminates the need for having an artificial background. I can run a presentation through here, and I can switch my camera between talking to you as we are now. And I'm going to set it up. I don't have a presentation up now, but just pretend that
Right.
this is a presentation. So now here I
Okay.
am, I'm
Wow,
down in the
cool.
corner, I'm still talking about,
Right.
here's all these icons that I use on a regular basis. And then I
Right.
can come back and I can be on camera, and I'm doing it by just, pushing a button, because the hardware that I use is a Stream Deck.
Okay.
So I can very quickly move from talking about a point on a slide and then coming back to being on camera, which keeps, because I'm making those switches, people are like, what's going to happen next? I got to pay attention, right?
Right.
Makes a huge difference. You can add more graphic elements. So I could roll in text underneath me if I wanted to have a call to action or bring up my website. So you can do quite a bit. And it's great for being live like we are on Zoom, but I've also started using it for recordings. So around the holidays, I did this thing called the 12 Days of Bundled Brilliance. You might have seen it.
Right.
And it was just a series of videos that I used this tool. So when it was time to edit, I didn't need to have somebody come in and do post-production work to have my logo show up in the corner, to transition from screens. All I had to do was trim the front and the back. And then if I decided to have a do-over, like the dog started barking or something, it's needed to start again.
Right.
So it really streamlined my process, and it really leveled up how I came across. And this event that I was at today, of the presentations that I went to, I was the only one that was using this technology, and it just blew people's minds. And
Well, yeah, that is mind blowing. I mean, I wrote it down right now already, because that's, you know, we did something similar, not, to putting a video instead of just having the audio. And for
Hmm.
those of you that are listening to the podcast, make sure you watch the video so you can see how she just did that. See it visually on our YouTube Legacy Shifters channel. You can see this live, okay?
Yes.
But it's very cool. I want that. I want a logo like that, and and you can switch it. We did something where we had the audio going, and then we have different pictures going along, so
Yes.
it
Yes.
keeps your because I do. If I sit in front of a TV set, I will fall asleep in 5 minutes. I'm just like, because it's just sort of, but when things are moving, then it keeps
Hmm.
you. So that's really what
Keeps
you're
it keep.
talking about.
And you even think about I've started really studying entertainment more and looking at
Yeah,
it from how could I take these principles, what I'm seeing here,
yeah,
and roll it into the types of programs, courses that I'm helping people with. You even think like the news show types of formats. There's several different shots. I think
right.
about, for some, Meet the Press has just come to mind. So
Yeah.
there's Chuck Dodd. He's got the board that he does things on that whiteboard. He
Hmm.
has one set where he's sitting with the panel. He has another set where he's interviewing one person. Then
Yeah,
if people are coming in to him from another part of the country or the world, then there's another look to all of that, and
right.
different logos are coming into play. Names of people are showing up on the screen. So I kind of watched that and thought, okay, well, how do we carry that over?
Yeah,
Because we're working on devices that people are now getting entertainment from. If somebody's watching on their PC, they might stream television shows through their PC.
yeah,
Certainly, people are doing it on their iPad and on their phones, which is one of the places that people will go to consume content. So to really think about from that perspective, it's a way of creating engagement. And
right,
another part of
right.
engagement is, so what activities can you have people
Hmm.
work through? And that
Good.
brings
Yeah.
people into play.
Yeah. What kind of activities do you,
Yeah.
what
So,
is, yeah.
it's challenging because you can give people a personal reflection exercise. So you can
Uh,
pose some questions. So you
right.
cover the content. And so one of the things that I will work with people on is, if in an event that I'm doing, is, what is your course transformation statement? So I provide some examples of what they are and how they work. And then they have a document to go and look at, and they write their own statement.
Yeah.
And then if it's live, I can give them feedback on it. And now I'm in the process of converting my own content to an online course, because the person who helps people create online courses doesn't have one of her own. So I got to get to that. But I'm so busy helping other people.
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
next in my queue.
Okay.
So then they can do that and activity. Then we then move on to the next phase. There's more teaching. Okay, so now that we've got this part done, I want you to come up with, what's the overall scope going to be of your project. So that's then a document that they would go through and they would fill out. And right now, much of what's available in the entrepreneurial market is really video, worksheet, quiz.
Right.
And the courses that I've created in the corporate market, we use what are called authoring tools. So an authoring tool is a tool to help you create content. A learning management system, or an LMS, is the place where the content sits once it's created. And the licenses for these are expensive. And I'm starting to look, but they're great because you can create opportunities for people to interact on the screen. And that's something that I'm working through now, to create some really good examples that I can share with my entrepreneurial audience, to say, if we do this, we can level up the content. So if people are watching something on a computer, and then we're having them do a particular action. And I don't have something that I can easily show today, but for example, think about it, maybe like the easiest example that I can describe is like a flip card, like when kids do like the memory game and you turn over the card. So
Right.
there's something on the front of the card, something on the back of the card. So you could
Oh,
make these little digital cards on a screen,
Yeah.
And like, let's say in your work, you might have some financial terminology that you want people to learn about. So you could have the term on the front of the card. They
Uh-huh.
click the card and they read the term.
Uh-huh.
That's more
Yeah.
engaging
Like an
than just
interaction.
listening to you explain
Yeah.
it, talking over a PowerPoint slide,
Right. That's
right?
very
So
cool.
that's the place.
Yeah.
I'm at this point now. I'm going to work to get everybody just leveled up. So I'm in the process now of finding really great examples and pulling that all together to say, well, what if we took you to this place? Because then then you're setting yourself apart from what everybody else is doing, which is watch a video, do a worksheet. It kind of gets a little
Yeah. Like go back to school.
back
That's
to
that.
school. Sharpen
Yeah.
your pencils. Here we
Oh,
go.
okay. You're
So
number
I'm looking
two.
at how do we, how can I get this group to
Hmm.
use the tools that are being used, to kind of go back to what I've learned in
Right.
working in the corporate sector and make it more accessible. So stay tuned for that, folks,
Oh yeah,
because
I'm
that
definitely
is going to
having
be
you
a mind
back.
blower. That
Yeah,
is going to be a
that's
mind blower.
that is already. I mean, to me, you're the master of instructional. I mean, you've worked with, Fortune 100
Yeah.
companies at a very high level. And so you're not just making a video and a module and right? I mean, and the quality and the craftsmanship inside of that, to me, it makes it's like writing a song. It's
Mhm.
it's exciting. And are you using any sound effects? Like in how they go when they change have you gotten that far into
Yeah, we can use
using
that.
sound?
I'm having some challenges getting sound to come through my computer, but definitely it is fun if you can have a sound effect. Even if
Yeah,
you have some music, when you have your intro to come up
right.
with, well, what's some theme music, kind of have your logo can fly around. I do have an animated logo.
Oh, how cool is that? Look at that. Okay, you guys got to watch this video. It's very cool. Oh, nice.
So that can show up at the beginning of
Very
something that I
nice.
do.
Yeah.
Now there's sound with that. For some reason, my sound isn't working today. I don't know. I've got to need technical support. I've got to get that
Right.
squared away. But
Right.
that's a detail that
Yeah.
will be resolved. But
Yeah.
to just things to make things just more interesting.
Yeah.
And so I think there's movement, and then coming up with how can people actually interact on the screen instead of just passively watching.
You mean with a touch screen or how?
Well, either a
What do
touch
you?
screen or just a mouse click, just clicking on
Okay.
something on the screen. So maybe my
Okay.
logo, I could click on my logo and something would happen.
And they get it
Just stay tuned.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they have to stay engaged by having, or they click the button for the answer or something, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're actually operating more, because right now the only place in many of the tools that are used by entrepreneurs, which would be like Kajabi,
Yeah.
Kartra, Thinkific, Teachable. The only time that people are really interacting on the screen is when they're doing a quiz. And the quiz is all, so multiple choice or have them do matching or something like that. But there's not the way to have that engagement happen as part of the learning.
Right. What is one more engagement thing that you might mention or be doing?
Let's see. So I think, well, interacting with the screen, coming up with where when you do video, another way to make it engaging is you can come up with a branching type of a scenario. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. So they play the video and then you say, okay, what would you do next? And then depending on how they answer that question, it'll take them down different
Oh.
roads.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
there's you're in a difficult conversation with an employee,
Right.
this is what they
Right.
said that they're tired of coming into the office, but you really want them in the office. What would you do next? Or something like that. And then you just
Right.
kind of walk them through and then give them feedback. And that's, again, part of using these different tools to just level things up,
Right.
which is really, and that's, I think, my
That's
theme for the year is level up.
level up. So when you're doing your product, do you have levels of the product? Meaning you have one do it yourself, do it with me, do you launch it like that where you have, where it's more affordable, you do it yourself. If you
Yeah.
want me, then it's the next level, that kind of thing?
Right now, what I have is do it, do it with me, or
Uh-huh.
do it with you, do it for you. And
Okay.
the online course that could be the do it yourself is coming. So right now, my do it yourself option
Yeah.
is my book, which is really a how to from end to end, from idea to implementation. So they could use this as a
Right.
guide. And now this will be the foundation for the course, because everything in here is what I teach in my group program, what I do when I work with people one on one. So now I'm working on putting it into the online format, and I want to use the types of tools that I've talked about that will level up the experience. So
Right. For those that are listening, that was called Bundle Your Brilliance. That's the name of her book. And it's a beautiful book. And where are they going to get this book at?
it's on Amazon.
Amazon. Go
And
get it on.
if you Google Bundle Your Brilliance, this is the only thing that comes up as of today anyway.
Okay. Okay. Now I've noticed, that you've launched this, right? And so when you're launching your product, you're doing. I saw you do a challenge. What's the difference? I hear people say challenge a lot. I'm not the
Yes.
marketer here, so how do you define a challenge? What's a challenge?
Well, and my expertise is more in the course building, and I do have people
Okay.
that come in to help with the course selling side of things,
Okay.
so that we can really get a comprehensive solution. And the strategies that we've used have been, well, first of all, nurturing your email list and
Right.
sending out tips to your email, and then having some sort of a call to action from there. So,
Yeah.
like when I did my 12 days of bundled brilliance, a call to action could have been, if my book was ready, buy my book. If the course is ready, buy the book. Or, hey, this program is coming up, move into the program. I
Hmm.
made the choice to actually have people book a call with me to just see if there's a fit going back and forth. I felt like that was a better way to move them forward.
Right.
Now,
Right.
so that's one way to move it along.
Yeah.
Another option is you can set up a webinar, or call it, they're being called master classes now. And you
Right.
can do, in that event, what you talk about is the what they can do. And then the call to action is to move them forward into the course where they can learn how to do it. And depending on, the value of it, you may also want to offer people the opportunity to have a conversation. So if you're doing a $2,000, $5,000 program, people may not be ready, to sign on the dotted line right at the end of the course, but after a conversation, then they may be ready to move forward. Then the last thing is the 5-day challenge. Excuse me. And they were very popular last year. And towards the end of the year, they seem to fade a little bit, but now we'll see what kind of where they're going to go. But the nice part about the 5-day event is people get to experience you every day. So you can build that know, like, and trust factor. They feel like they're getting to know you, so that then when you make the offer to move on to the next level, they're prepared for. Everybody knows that there's going to be an offer in
Yeah.
these events,
Right.
right? We just know that's part of it. It's
Yeah.
on. I hate to compare it to the timeshare.
Right. Here it comes.
Come to this fabulous hotel and just give
Yeah.
us an hour.
Right. We just want to.
All you got to do is give us an hour,
Right.
and
I
they
been
must sell a
there.
lot of them anyway.
Yeah.
But it's it's terrible comparison, but it's true.
No, I hear you. I've been there
But
too.
it's about, so it's finding this balance between giving people some valuable content that they can use, but without giving them so much that they'll walk away from the free event going, I've got this, I'm ready to go
Right.
on my own. And there's always going to
Right.
be some people that they'll come to all the free stuff, and that's all they're going to do. But
Right.
what I found is sometimes it takes people to come through something with you multiple times. So
Right.
it might be 3 or 4 times
Oh yeah.
before they're ready to buy, because who knows what else is going on. I talked to somebody last week. She's in the middle of going to graduate school. She's got like 5 different things going on. And so I'm thinking, she's interested. she's kind of got to clear the other decks or decide, well, what am I not going to do this? So then when you're putting your programs out there, how are they going to see what you have to offer as more important than the other types of
Right.
activities that they're involved in?
It's really like the crown of the business when you consolidate, like, the book is like a little microchip, but when you put it into a product, that's like
Mm-hmm.
your crown, and that, and then you building your community. But there's so many people that I know that are listening to this show that it's like, oh, it's too big, I can't do it, right?
Yeah.
And but your calmness of your expertise makes it, oh, I can do that. You make it reachable.
It's
And
possible. It's doable, and I think there's many people that out there, they'll sell it like, oh, it's really going to be easy and you can do it in 20 minutes, whatever.
no.
One day you'll have it done.
Uh,
And then people get into it and then they feel discouraged because it takes
yeah,
more than a day. One
yeah,
person, what he was offering, when you looked at it, it was he had all kinds of white label content that you could use. Well, sure, if all I'm going to do is
cut
set
and
something up,
paste.
put my branding on it, yeah, I can do that in a day.
Right.
But to really think it through in a way that's strategic, so that you go, how is this going to further the action in my business? What is this going to do for me? How is it going to allow me to serve more people or save more time so that it can make a
Yeah.
difference
Yeah.
and that it's connected to the services that you offer? The
Right.
bigger play is to offer the course as part of a group or a one-on-one program. So let's say, just picking the numbers, 2,000 and 5,000 because they're easy. So I have this $2,000 group program, and as part of that, you're going to get this online course. You work with me one-on-one and it's 5,000. As part of that, you're going to get this online course. You don't need to sell as many of those as if you're just going out, here's my online course.
Yeah.
It's $97.
Right.
Okay. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that is the bigger play, and perhaps the smarter play for many entrepreneurs that don't have a huge list. If you have a huge list of people where you might be able to sell, 1,000 units, 5,000 units, okay. But not most people are working on smaller lists that are
Right.
under 5,000. So it's the numbers game of how many people
Right.
do you need to reach to get down to the number that you want to get to.
Exactly.
And I do think people are longing for more community now.
Yes.
you know
Yeah, for
we're not
sure.
stuck at home with nothing else to do. Like, well, okay, I think I'll learn to play the guitar today. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
you know
Right. Right. That's it. So wrapping the community around it really is, what the difference is, that you you just said, if people heard you, the questions to ask, what will this, and the questions bring forth the what it is. So
yeah.
those questions because you've been from point A to the end. And when you're just starting, you don't know what the questions are, so it's being built sort of
Hmm.
randomly. So that's a really, because I just
Yeah.
listened to those questions. I think everybody should write those down because it was so on it, right? On point.
Well,
And that's
it's being strategic and being
right.
methodical, and not that it takes and there is room for creativity inside of being methodical. I mean,
Yeah.
I think constraints open the door to creativity. It's like, there's a problem to solve, and okay, so what are the constraints and opportunities for me to be able to solve this problem?
Right. Nancy, it's been so fun talking with you. I think we could just go on and on and on. We can come back again and drill down on some of this as your book's going out,
Sure.
and what,
But happy to.
significant chapters. Bundle your brilliance. Tell everybody where and how to get in contact with you.
Well, you can find me at my website, which is nancygiere.com, which is Giere. And my email is nancy@nancygiere.com. Again, Giere. That's where you can find me to reach out to me to connect. And the book, Bundle Your Brilliance, Turn Your Expertise into Profitable Online Courses, is available on Amazon. So if you just search for Bundle Your Brilliance on Amazon, the book will come up.
Beautiful. Really. All right. Well, everybody's going to be working on consolidating all their brilliance and bundling it up into a beautiful. I hate the way of saying product. What's another word for product? Program.
Maybe it's a program. I think
Program.
program is a nice word.
Yeah, or
because
masterclass.
Masterclass program, you can use course, could use curriculum, but
Yeah.
I've been kind of falling into program because I see it as part, it's part of the business. And I
Do
think
you
like
put-
investing in a program is a different kind of a feeling.
So you're using program.
I've been using program more.
And do you take your program and put it onto other of these educational centers that are like have programs, or do you use it individually? If somebody
Well, I think, there's different
learning.
ways to come at it. Yeah, there's places like Udemy and LinkedIn Learning, and you can put courses out there.
Mhm.
I know somebody who's done great on Udemy. She has parts, you can't have it be exactly the same as what you're selling on your own site, but it's a tremendous way to generate more business by starting out on a site like Udemy. People, again, they get a sense of who you are and what you have to offer. There's some guidelines about what you can do in terms of call to action, because of course they don't want people to leave their site.
Right, right.
So those are great tools for marketing. And then
Yeah.
you can have your course or program, however you want to call it, direct access from your website. If you have WordPress, there's plugins that you can use so people can just access the course. The payment gateways are there, so you can run it all from there, or you can invest in a third-party platform, and that's where the course can sit. And the main distinction there is some of them are all in one, and that you can have your course there and do all of your email marketing. And others are just a place for the courses to reside. And there's just lots of good options out there. And when we work with people, we look at, okay, given where they are, what tools they already have, what makes the most sense for them to have, in terms of, okay, where am I going to house this thing?
Right. Well, beautiful. I mean, we've got a lot of jewels today to go off with, and Bundle Your Brilliance. Everybody get that book and make sure you share it with your friends. Tell everybody about it. Again, Your Legacy Shift. You can see the video of this. Your Legacy Shift is a free gift, and Legacy Shifters is a YouTube channel, so you can get both of those. And all that'll be in the show notes. Again, Nancy, it's been a real pleasure having you here. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.